Dokie. Alright, I think I am live. Looking like it, at least from the YouTube dashboard. So if you guys are in chat currently, let me know if you hear me and see me well. Just a quick audio check, audio and video check here before we get started. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay, all right. So Jonathan says we look good. Look and sound well. So we'll get started. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to, I'm not sure what live stream this is at this point, but welcome back to another one. As you guys may know, if you are regulars to the channel, I try to do this once every month. It's been a little bit since I did the last one. Kind of had some holiday things come up, you know, and the typical stuff as everyone would have come to expect with Thanksgiving and the US holidays. So I am back with another build. Today we are going to be doing an $800 gaming PC that can also stream and content create. So that's quite a mouthful to shove all into one PC build, but we're gonna do it here. And if you guys aren't familiar with the parts that we have here on the table, this was a part hunt originally, so I do have a link to that build in this description of this video or this live stream, where in case you were wondering what you are seeing here and now, that is all where we basically hunted down these parts and put together in a budget of an $800 PC. So that's where this is coming from, and this is basically the second part of the series. As you guys, if you're familiar with the series, I try to part hunt first, then do a live stream build with you guys, and then thirdly we do a summarization of the performance and what to expect with what we put together tonight. So that'll come in about a week to follow for that video. So, and just going to do a quick couple house checking items here with you guys real quick. So as mentioned, this is an $800 gaming PC. And like I mentioned, if you guys watch the part hunt video, you should know that we pretty much, with the parts that you see here, minus just a couple things we'll get to in the later part of the live stream, this is right to the T $800 spent to get all of what you see here and now. So just wanted to kind of cover that base with you guys, because I try to stay as transparent as possible to what we're actually building on stream, to make sure that you guys know that, you know, nothing's being embellished, or, you know, I might not have got some crazy niche deal. It's something that you guys can go out and do right now. And by the way, all the parts that we have out here on the table are in the description as well, so you guys can go out and take a look at those things and kind of put together something similar if that's what you're after. Another quick item, just to put it out there, super chats are obviously welcome, but not necessary. It's just a way to help provide to the channel, to help me keep doing these things. I have some upgrades that I'm always making to the channel to make my content better for you guys, and I'm always open ears on how to make that better. And so a super chat or donation or whatever is obviously always welcome, but not ever expected. So I just want to put that out there if you guys are feeling generous, but don't feel like you need to. Just letting you know that this is not my full-time job. So yeah, any little bit of money I make just goes right back into the channel to make it better for you guys. One other thing too I want to mention, guys, I did launch my Discord. I think I made a live announcement on my last PC build, but it's been out there for a little bit. Some of you guys I see in chat right now tonight are already members, so thanks guys for joining. But there are plenty of other subscribers to my channel that are not members of the Discord channel, and that's a really good way to kind of get connected with the community in a one-on-one basis. And I'm looking to do possibly some perk memberships, and this is also kind of why I'm mentioning it, that I'm thinking of ideas. And guys, if you guys got ideas, feel free to blast them out in the chat here tonight, of things that we can do that kind of offer additional levels of membership to the channel that gets you some perks. So I'm kind of just brainstorming some ideas right now. Nothing set in stone, but I'm just trying to take basically the community to another level to allow you guys to get better one-on-one interaction with, say, me or some of my veteran, which I'm sure I'm going to have here soon, some moderators, and, you know, just a bit better build our community. So think of some ideas. I'm definitely open ears to that. I've been kind of tossing them around and just trying to figure some things out with that, and I thought that might be a good thing to give to you guys. One other thing, I am streaming on the same system I used last stream, and if you guys saw that, I had some strange technical issues. I tried to resolve it before the stream, but I'm still having this weird flickering thing that is only visible to me, luckily, but not to you guys. But sometimes it requires me to step away for a second just to fix it, so hoping I don't run into that too much, but just kind of throwing that out there if you guys are wondering what the heck I'm doing under my table here and there sometimes trying to fix something like that. So all right, with all those things out of the way, just want to give some quick shout outs to the early birds here. So I see the Net Guy is first, Clankit second, Joker third, and Jonathan Talks Hardware fourth. So thanks guys for joining, and thanks for everybody else who's here. I'm also going to try to get, and guys, this is just for fun. Like we're here to hang out. I'm building a PC in front of you, but any tech questions or anything really at all, just let's have an open community interaction, and feel free to ask me anything you can. It is sometimes difficult to be doing both, watching the chat and building at the same time. So if I miss, definitely, holler at me. I'll try to I'll try to answer your questions if it's a question you have or you want some type of answer from me on. But anyway, just wanted to put those out there, and I'd say let's get going on this build. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water before we do. And we'll go over each individual part on what it is, how we got it briefly, and what we spent on it, etc., etc. So I do have a load of parts just sprawled out in front of me. I'm going to just kind of make some room here. And by the way, too, I don't think I mentioned it at the beginning there. This is a client build who is also basically a family friend who reached out to me and said, hey, I got about $800 to spend. What can we do? As far as he's doing some gaming streaming, and he does some content creation on TikTok, and so he was looking to have something that was about as potent that you could possibly get for $800. So I said, you know what, we can definitely put something together. Let's do it. And so as you guys saw with the first video, we found the parts, and now we're going to build it. So I was just kind of bringing that up. If you guys haven't seen the previous video for the parts hunt, definitely go check it out if you haven't. I know those videos too are a little long tooth as far as just it being a big talking head video, which I'm trying to work on too, trying to make those more cut down to the point. So I'm open to suggestions as far as content creation goes with that as well, guys. So let me know what you want to see. All right, I'm sorry, I'm just getting all these parts out of the way because we've got a lot of stuff that I just got to get out of the way. I just kind of had this out for the beginning of the show here. All right. Alrighty, so I guess what we'll go ahead and do, I just buried my mouse with my controls here. I do need to get a stream deck, so that is something I definitely need to work on doing. I'm just clicking around on my OBS for now. It'll work. But what we're going to start here with is the motherboard, and this is a B450 motherboard that, if you guys watched the parts hunt video, we got a smoking red hot deal on this motherboard. This is basically a full feature B450 motherboard. Yeah, slightly a little older generation board, but still very well can accommodate any of the Ryzen CPUs other than the latest 7000 series, which is a completely, redesign of the architecture. But got this motherboard on Amazon Warehouse. Basically, it's in like brand new condition for $65. I mean, normally I think the retail of these, when they were more brand new, right off the market, was around $150+. So very awesome deal on this motherboard, and I was really super happy to get my hands on that. By the way, I tweaked with my overhead camera, so let me know what you guys think of this. I think this is going to definitely do a little bit better for our viewing experience for you guys. All right. Mr. 7 Digit says, it feels like an early 2020 build, but there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, this goes to show how well, I would say, the AMD AM4 platform has aged. It's aged quite well in the fact that you can still go buy these parts for a really good price, being the big factor, but also being able to accommodate pretty much a lot of mainstream stuff. I mean, not the absolute mainstream. Obviously, you're not going to be putting like a 4090, or I guess just now recently the 7000 series graphics cards benchmarks have finally hit the market. So I haven't really checked out much of that. Let me know if you guys have checked into that. I think I watched a little bit of a Paul's Hardware video talking about the performance factors, although I didn't quite get to the conclusion. So I imagine, if I were to guess, that the 7000 series, and this is me not knowing at all, that in pure rasterization performance, probably outperforms the 4090. I don't know what the general consensus of that is, but I have a feeling that's at least was the main goal of AMD. So anyway, we got our motherboard out here on the box. We're just going to build from here. And I'm just going to toss away some of my trash here. So what we got here is, like I said, it's basically like a full feature motherboard. It's got, you know, many headers of all different things that we can plug in here. It's got nice VRM cooling over the VRM. So this is a pretty solid motherboard, I'd have to say, for 65 bucks. So I'm very happy to get this find, and it's literally like in brand new condition. This sucker has like no dust on it. It is, I don't know how I got such a good deal. Now that is, to be fair, a particularly niche deal, but if you guys are familiar with the channel, you know that, you know, one, we're PC part hustling for the best deals out there. So what I try to really hammer down to you guys as my audience is, this is something, if you put in a little bit of effort of taking a look around the areas that where you can get this kind of stuff, you can reproduce these types of builds. This isn't, you know, a one-off find. When we were in that parts hunt video, I think there was like several B450 motherboards that I was considering before I landed on this one. And really the only reason I landed on this one is because I really wanted to try to squeeze next level performance that for just a gaming PC probably wasn't super necessary, but you know, it was just something I was trying to do for this particular build. All right, we'll go back to that overhead cam, because now what we are going to install as our first part is our CPU. So the CPU, which we have here, is a Ryzen 5 5600. So we got this brand new just off Amazon. These are going for amazingly good prices right now. The 6-core 12-threaded CPU, you know, it's not a Ryzen 7 level, and now we did try to go with Ryzen 7, but it just wasn't going to happen for our budget. And then going with Intel was going to be almost as equally as difficult. We could have tried to, I think if we landed on an i5, we were just going to have to spend a little bit too much. So the i5, like 12th gens, are still going for a fair bit more than these processors. So this was a good middle ground, and because we got the motherboard for such a good deal, it allowed us to open up a lot of price to performance for our video card, which we'll get into later in the video. So something like that. So I'm opening this box here, just peeking at the chat here, see what you guys are talking about. Paranormal Gaming says, I have the same board, ordered that board, and got the 2II upgrade version of the board. Oh, okay, cool. Sweet. So you ordered the board and got an upgraded version. Sweet. Oh, nice. Thanks for joining the channel too, by the way, Mr. Paranormal Gaming. So we're just going to get this CPU out of here. So this is brand new box, and actually I'm going to ditch the cooler that it comes with. Nothing particularly wrong. It's not, you know, an amazing cooler. It's a, you know, the stealth cooler. I told my client, who's a buddy of mine, I want to get him a little extra RGB. So there is one factor in this build that, you know, this is completely fine to use, but I'm going to give him a prism cooler that I just so happen to have on hand to add a little RGB bling to the build, so that way he can enjoy that, because he was looking for that too. So we were after many goals with this build. All right, let's see here. So we are getting the CPU out of the clamshell here, and we want to make sure that we've got our arrows aligned properly, so just matching that up. Quick pro tip too, if you're using a AM4 platform Ryzen, it's basically going to mount down just as you see me holding it up here. Just going to drop it straight down. So it always reads, you know, Ryzen top to bottom. So we'll just open up our retention arm here, drop this guy straight on in. Now I did actually test this to make sure this board didn't need a BIOS update, so we were actually good right out of the box, which is even more awesome about this find, is the fact that I got a motherboard that is also on an updated BIOS that I'll be able to run Ryzen 5000 series. So we should not, in theory, if everything goes well, not have to worry about that being a factor of a post at the end. All right, so CPU installed, pretty simple there, guys. Oh, I forgot, a part that I ordered on the Parts Hunt video was a 32 gig set of RAM that I ordered from eBay. That was 10 days ago. So this is one thing I don't particularly like about eBay. I'll put the camera back on me here. Is I ordered that 10 days ago, and it's managed to ship into my area, the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area, and has been stuck in shipping USPS delays or something. So it's somewhere local. I just can't get it yet, and I think, if I looked at it earlier, that it could possibly deliver during stream. For now, I'm just going to install some just basic RAM in it, but it's a 32 gig YOLO kit, or ULO, or however you pronounce that. It's in the parts list. It's in the previous video. We went with that part mainly because it was $80 or $85 for a 32 gig 3600 megahertz kit. So I mean, heck of a deal for some good RAM, and that was one of the requirements of the client, needing 32 gigs for content creation purposes and streaming and all that. So I'm just going to install some very basic RAM just to make sure that this thing posts and we're good. So I'm going to just grab that. I put it on the table over here. And if you guys are veterans of the channel, you might recognize this RAM. Let me know if you do. I'll just give you a quick peek here. Hold on, I gotta give you a good view there. So let me know if you recognize this memory. So that'll really define how veteran of a channel fan you are here. But we're gonna get this installed here. So in slot 2, it's the primary slot, and slot 4. All right, so that's in. It actually looks pretty good as far as aesthetics go, but we're not gonna go with this RAM. This is just temporary, so we can get the PC built, because I still got RAM stuck in shipping right now. Jonathan Talks Hardware says, "Do you remember the guy talking about it?" Yeah, I realized he was talking about Canadian. I was just like, hey, just trying to get him to join the stream, maybe get some ideas or something. So hopefully he shows up, maybe he gets some ideas. Obviously this is not an $800 Canadian build, it's an $800 US, so that would be quite a bit more investment. I do have other build guides that he can possibly follow and maybe help him out. But all right, so next, really getting sidetracked here, let's get the M.2 in. And now I wanted to do something a little special, just because the client is also kind of a, like a family friend almost, basically. I did get a SSD for him, but it's, a budget SSD that's going to have the white label on it. I'm kind of thinking I might go with that for now, and let me know what you guys think. I did buy one of these cheap covers that you can get off of Amazon. It's a black colored just heatsink that would cover up the label of the drive, but because we do have a white case, as you guys saw, this might actually kind of flow. So I'm gonna wait to see if we really think we need to do that. I do have some questions for you guys too. I want you to try to give some interaction elements, where that being one of them, if you think we should go ahead and cover up the label of this SSD because it is just a raw SSD, or should we go with, putting the heatsink on? It's a black heatsink. Obviously, it'll go well with a board, but overall look of the build, I'm kind of curious of how it'll look. So I want to kind of just do this first and see how things go. We could always pop it out easily and just put the heatsink on. So, oh, okay, cool, Jonathan. Yeah, lots of ways to skin a cat in terms of a $500 build these days, which is very nice because, this time last year, we weren't even considering $500 builds. It was just like unheard of. And if you did, you're basically going the APU route. You weren't going to get a GPU. So the tides have turned in the last year, which is very, very nice. Colonel Gaming says, my build, I want to get an NVMe drive and a better graphics card. Yep, there's always better graphics cards to get, right? Are you just running on like a 2.5-inch SSD right now? No NVMe? Or just a better NVMe drive in general? All right, now this does have the little screw attached to it, so because this is a refurbished board, dang it, I put my little screwdriver. I thought I had everything sitting out. Hang on, guys. But I can walk and talk. You just won't see me here for just a second. But yeah, with these refurbished boards, sometimes you won't get everything. That is one thing to be paying attention to make sure. Sometimes they may not come with NVMe screws. We're talking about this little tiny screw right there. So that is a possibility if you buy a board like this that's refurbished from, let's say, Amazon Warehouse or eBay or something like that. Or you may not end up with the IO shield for the rear, so that's a pain sometimes when you have to deal with that. Most times you can find those. M.2 screws are super easy to find. I have a million of them myself, but sometimes those IO shields are tough to find. Mainstream board like this, pretty easy. What's up, Trent Vester? Thanks for joining the channel, sir. How's Monday Night Football going for everybody? I checked the scores before I started the stream, and it didn't look like a very fun game. It looked like Arizona was up just by a field goal. I wasn't watching, so I only saw 3 points. But maybe this will be more fun for us all here. I think it's Arizona and the Patriots are playing, so meh. Alrighty. So we've got to get a CPU cooler installed, and we're just about done with the things that we're doing on the motherboard. Just take a quick sip of water here and catch up on some of the chat here. Oh, Paranormal Gaming, you're running on 2 terabyte spinning hard drive. Yeah, you upgrade to an NVMe, that's going to be a massive upgrade for you for sure. Yeah, you'll feel like your PC is running at the speed of light at that point. I mean, these things are cheap, so I think I forgot to mention that this is a 1 terabyte drive. Usually my kind of go-to for budget builds, I usually go with just a 512 gig. But I went with a 1 terabyte for my client on this one, just for the simple fact that I knew he's going to be doing some content creation. This would at least be a good buffer for him to start with. 1 terabyte it obviously isn't a massive amount, but it's a fair good amount to start with. And obviously this is plenty of connectivity for other drives. Now it doesn't, which is interesting, a board this size doesn't appear to have, let's say there's one on the back, I've never seen one with, yeah. So it's only got 1 NVMe drive, that's fine. And we've got plenty of SATA SSDs, so really, if you're just using for storage, or heck, you can even use them as game drives. He can always come back and connect up a SATA drive here to add some additional storage if he needs. So I'm sure if he did need it, he would probably be contacting me. Maybe we'll make a little video about that, upgrading a storage. So anyway, I'm getting all the cables and stuff out of this Prism cooler here. These Prism coolers are pretty cool. I try to keep them for particular use cases. It's definitely one of the better stock coolers. I think yeah, Intel still doesn't really have jack, I think, that can really compete. But this is such a cool cooler. So I believe this is like an 80 or 90 millimeter fan. It's got LEDs around this ring, LEDs on the AMD logo, and LEDs inside the fan hub. So that's kind of why I was like, man, this would really add some extra LED pop to the build. And these do cool relatively well. This is a chunky heatsink. We've got all copper heat pipes. That's nice for the pre-applied thermal paste here, so we'll just slap that guy right down. But these are great coolers. I've tested them. I have a video I did a long while back where I tested this against a bunch of other coolers against my 5950X, and this thing did pretty good. So since we have pre-applied thermal paste, just making sure I'm orientating this correctly here, we're just going to first connect up the PWM header for the cooler right there. Now these are a little tricky. I might have to get a little closer. We have to grab these latches that are on the side over the top of the stock attached plastic, I don't know what these are, mounting plates. Well, they're not plates, they're mounting brackets, plastic mounting bracket. So this is, we don't have to take those off like we normally do for like a cheap stock cooler. So we're just going to grab it on one end and then grab it on the other. And actually, I think I should have done it the reverse wrap for it. Yeah, I'll grab it here first. Yep. I'm going to have to spin this so I can see what I'm doing. Come down. So basically just grabs those little clipped plastic ends that you guys have noticed. If you haven't noticed what the particular reason, some other aftermarket coolers will use that too. And then we're just going to hammer down the latch. And that's it. It is on. Really simple install. Now I'll just cable manage up that little cable. I think we can just do a little tuck action here. Seems pretty okay. Yeah, that'll work just fine. Now this does require 2 different cables. You can go with the USB, which is this one right here. USB, and that will allow us to connect it to the motherboard USB, so we could do a full gambit of RGB control. Or if you just want to keep things simple, you can just go with a simple, this is actually a 12 volt RGB instead of a 5 volt. So it's a 4-pin, which actually most motherboards, this one does have it. I'm not going to go with this one. I did lose my monitor, so that's what I mentioned earlier. So hang on 1 second, guys. I'm just redoing that real quick. I will get this fixed for next stream. I have a feeling, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what's causing that. But we'll get it fixed. Hopefully I don't have to do that very often. I lose visibility of you guys. Luckily you guys don't lose visibility of me. But anyway, what I was saying about the RGB cable is this plugs into a 4 volt, which is less addressable. So you don't have as much RGB control. So I'm not going to use it. What we're going to use is the USB one, and that plugs in. Kind of hard to see it. Maybe you can see it better from this angle. Yeah, maybe. So there's a couple plugs here, and actually this fan does have a physical speed control for a quiet mode and a high powered, like fast mode. Right now it's on low. I'll just keep it like that. It'll ramp up if it needs to, but it just makes it run ever so slightly warmer to stay more quiet when it's not needing to do a lot of cooling. But I do want to get this USB little mini cable attached, because that probably will be difficult once we got it in the case. All right. Pinky Tech, not done yet. Yeah, man. 27 minutes in. Give me a break. I know you can't build a PC that fast either. But that's Pinky Tech's general thing he likes to give me crap about. So we got a 3-pin and a little 4-pin. This thing is a 3-pin, which I'm going to get that plugged in. I'm just going to forego showing you that because I can't even see the orientation myself too easily. There we go. All right, get that guy in there. I'll cover up that other little port because this did come with like a little port cover to keep dust out of there. I think that was the correct one. Are they both kind of the... Yeah, that one's a little bigger. So we'll put this guy back on there so stays dust free. Okay, there we go. A little tiny rubber grommet thing. All right, so with this, I want to run this clean enough where it's not going to look crazy. And actually, this board I think is going to help me do just that. So that's not too bad. I'll show you kind of the overhead, what that looks like. So basically, what I did is I just kind of ran it through here and tucked it alongside, and these heat sinks are actually helping me tuck away the cable very nicely. So good there. Hopefully I have enough room to run it around the back side of the board and down to the USB header, so that's always fun. We'll find out if we run into that or not. Okay, so we've got CPU, RAM, or temporary RAM. For those of you who have not joined, well, then should have been here earlier. Just kidding. Got some temporary RAM because I don't have a kit here that I ordered. It's been stuck in shipping for a while. Probably perks of the holiday stuff going on. NVMe drive installed, and CPU obviously underneath the cooler. Yeah, Pinky Tech says, yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, I'll figure out something. I've installed these a couple times before, hoping I can make it look pretty. Now, you don't necessarily have to go with that. You can go with the RGB cable, which I think you could probably route a little easier. Anyway, I'm going to grab the case that's coming in frame here in 2 seconds. This case I want to talk about because I got a smoking deal on this case. And we're going to get the full screen here so you can see. So what we got here is an NZXT H510 Elite. So it's got all the sweet built-in RGB things. It's got an RGB hub and fan controller out back. It's got, I believe, yep, an RGB strip up here. And I think there's one behind the cable management bar thing here. So I haven't built in one for a while. Actually, I haven't built in the 510 Elite. I've built in just the normal 510 before, but really awesome case. Got two RGB fans up front. So those are fully addressable RGB fans. And then on the top, there's a 140 exhaust fan and a 120 in the back. So pretty good, should be pretty good for this system. This isn't, you know, a massively overpowered system. there's been weird negative things. I mean, yeah, Gamers Nexus has said, oh, this isn't the best for airflow, blah, blah, blah. I mean, true to effect, but this, I've noticed that this thing, even with just the slit of air ventilation it has on the side, which I'll show here, this is a pretty good gap to pull in air. So we're talking like probably 1.5 inches or more. And that's also about that. Like, I'm putting my fingers in front of the fan, so there's plenty of breathing room for these fans to get some air moving across the component. So I'm not real worried about that. So I don't know. I mean, some people hate this case, some people love it. I think it's a very well constructed case. I like NZXT products, so I'm going to stick with it. Oh my god, we got a giant super chat. Michaela Harvat. Oh man, who's that? Not just kidding. With the big $20 dono. Well, thank you. If you guys haven't figured it out, that's my wife. She must be bored on the couch or something over there. I thought she was going to be doing some non-fun things, but anywho, well, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me my own money. All right, so anyway, we're going to lay this guy down, and I think we should have all these standoffs. Yes, we have all the standoffs already pre-installed and exactly where we need them. That's nice. Oh, actually, before we do that, I'm going to pull the little goodie bag out of the back, which you guys probably just saw. Yep, so nice little box of probably, you know, just the extra accessories that come with all cases. And you got the NZXT logo on it. Get this sucker open, because I don't think I'm going to really need, like, maybe even anything out of it. See, I just want to see what it comes with. So, oh yeah, we've got the, oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot NZXT provides this. This is one thing I really like about what NZXT does. So I'm going to put the overhead cam on so you guys can see what I'm talking about a little better. So they provide the front panel, like a header, like a harness, actually, that allows you to plug this basically in as just one plugged in unit to your motherboard. So NZXT makes that super simple to work with. So I really like that NZXT does that. I'd assume they do it with all their cases, unless there's a super budget version that maybe they don't, but I haven't really worked with that. And then we've got a splitter for audio, plugging in at the top here if for some particular reason somebody needs that. I don't really know many people that use those type of audio. Most people, I think, use USB at this point. And then we got little zip ties and lots of screws. We'll definitely need the screws for the motherboard, so we'll get those out. They are all labeled, which is very nice. So we've got M3. I think those are the ones we'll need. Just trying to see some. Those are like power supply screws, hex screws. May need some of those. Some smaller 6-32 screw flat, and then yeah, several. These are small zip ties, but they are, well, I guess they'll work for small things. Would like to see those maybe a little longer, but oh yeah, and then just a standoff installer kit. So a nice motherboard will come with this, where you can put just like a screw thing over the top of a standoff and allow you to move those in and out. All right, so we'll get to those. I don't need to really go into that. That's kind of boring anyway. All right, so laying the case down, just kind of push that stuff back in there real quick. Oh, and before we do, we need to get our I/O shield. All right. That guy, yeah. Yeah, that was funny. That was a funny show. It was just as we started too, John. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, and then my son's running around in his underwear and in the background. So, yeah. So, you guys are going to get stuff interesting between my show, Piggy's show, and John's show. All right. So, we've got our I/O shield here. This is just actually what this board didn't come with one. I actually had to buy one. Luckily, these are easy to find for B450 MSI boards. So that is a risk factor that sometimes is an unknown when you're buying a resale motherboard like this, but I was able to find one of these on eBay for like $6, so super simple, luckily. I'm not sure if it's the original one that the motherboard, just make sure, comes with. If I were to assume, it's probably like a black one, but this fits everything, so we're good. I'm gonna just put that in here, and let's see if I give you guys a good. Let me get this motherboard box out of the way. It's kind of got stuff in the way here. Oh, all right. Geez, another donation. G James, hey man, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining in. This is the client is now I'm under the gun, so I better do things right, guys. But thank you, sir, so much for the donation. Appreciate that. Definitely helps let this channel keep rolling. And it wasn't my own money this time. Guess the wife just started the dono train, huh? Alright, getting this IO shield in. I think I heard enough pops to make satisfying. Oh, shoot. My goodness, I put it in upside down. That'll happen. Just pay attention to what you're doing, guys. It can go in more than one way. Your motherboard just won't go in if you do it the wrong way. Almost got it. Gotta get that one corner up there. There. Oh. There it goes. Okay. Alrighty. I think we got it. Cool. Okie doke. We are gonna drop in the motherboard here next. Just gonna grab it by the cooler. Try to get that, well, we'll see how that cable goes. It's just gonna stick out for a bit. Dropping this guy on in. Beautiful. Nice and smooth. I think that should be good. You know what? I thought we had, yeah, no, that's right. Just a little out of alignment. I feel like my table is just a little high. Maybe might have to lower it. There it is. We'll just start working some screws in. Okay. Actually going to lower my table just ever so slightly because it's proving to be a little high here for me. So while I do that, I'll just check out the chat here. Yeah, Jonathan, you'll get there, man. Trust me. The 1K subs will hit, and then you won't know what to do with yourself. Then you'll have to be a content producing machine, and that's tough. But best of luck to you hitting 1K. Please kiss every part before you put it in. Yes, sir. Whoops, I missed the mark on the first round here. All right, let's get some screws out. We got to get this motherboard in. Let's see. I think these look small. I think these are the motherboard ones. Let's see. Yeah, I'm feeling better about those. How many we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think that's it. That looks like a way more. All right. Well, one way to find out, right? Get these screws out and get these things started. I'm gonna go with a corner first. Yeah, it might have been those other screws actually. Actually, I think I'm a little misaligned here. I'm gonna turn it sideways. Oh, there we go. So that's nice. The motherboard comes with one of those little alignment pegs. I think I'm just kind of not 100% on it or over it. Get this out of here. Something's impeding. Double checking everything here. Just want to get over that peg. There we go. That's what I need to do. Okay. So some cases have those nice, I think I might have said the motherboard had it, but some cases have those nice kind of alignment pegs in the middle, which helps get the motherboard in. So it wasn't completely lined up, but now I got it. Honestly, I think aside from like cable management, cable management isn't even hard. I think getting the motherboard in sometimes is the hardest. If you run into factors like that where you can't get things quite aligned. So what do you guys think? What is the most difficult part about building a PC that you run into? Can I not get these freaking screws right? There we go. Yeah, front connector is always a pain. Yeah, especially if you can't see too well, which they're always not real simple to see, which in our case, these this little NZXT header is going to come in very handy, which you guys will see. If you hadn't seen that before, I've built an NZXT before, so I really like that they do that. That'll help a lot. Alright, so really this is just kind of the boring part for now. I'm just screwing in the 8 or 9 screws that just hold the motherboard in. So I'm just going to try to keep my eyes on the chat and interact with you guys. Gummy RGBLX, Pinky Tech, I'll DM you on Alright, so you guys discussing some things. Pinky Tech's always a good help he's a PC builder himself. If you guys have not checked out his channel, and I think we got 2 other YouTubers in this chat as well, Jonathan Talks Hardware and John the Net Guy, or his channel's called The Net Guy, not John the Net Guy. His name is John. But 3 excellent YouTubers. We all kind of do a lot of the same stuff. John does way more videos than the rest of us. Yeah, I don't know how this dude keeps up with it, but I'm just trying to keep up with you, John. But he's got a weekly show. I'd love to do a weekly show, but that would I don't know how you get the time, sir. Alright, come on. Get in here. I'm kind of going crooked. Or wrong screw. Let me just kind of position things a little bit. I'm going to go to this corner one. I'm slightly off center here. I think I just got to put a little bit of pressure on it. Forgot how much this headset does not breathe too well on my head. I'm going to loosen some things up. I'm having a little kind of coming in wonky here. So I got one there. Where did I get another one on? Got one right there. There. We're just going to go full send it. There we go. Let me spin this way so you guys can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. There we go. Second build ever, you jerk. Yeah. It's my second build ever. Am I doing it right, guys? This is what you do, right? Unfortunately, he knows me, John, so he knows I build PCs. So that's why he came after me to build one. I have had the last build, actually. That $700 build was a blind client of mine. Someone that I think wanted to buy some system I was selling on just Facebook Marketplace, and they said, hey, you know, looking to do this, that, and the other. And I said, well, give me a budget and I'll work with you. And so we just kind of went from there. So that was pretty cool, and haven't heard from them, so I'm guessing the kiddo is enjoying his PC. That was a good build too. Used a AMD 6600. Sucker is a great budget card. Alright, I think I got one more. Gotta spin it here to get to it. I'm really happy with that overhead cam look, though. I'm gonna get it's kind of set up on a temporary setup, but I'm gonna get some, probably mount it from the ceiling, but I feel like that is way better in terms of what you guys can see from before. I feel like it was a good little upgrade. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we got the peg. So this motherboard's going nowhere. So we'll stand it up, let you guys take a peek. There we have motherboard installed, coming along nicely. Yeah, actually, the label on the NVMe drive doesn't, it flows with the look of the PC, because we got white going on. So we'll see. We'll get further into the build and see how we like how that looks, because it is, you know, just the label that's visible. Now with this cable, I'm going to try to tuck it back behind the board. I'm going to do a test here. I want to see if this will actually make it. Otherwise, we'll have to think of something else. Sending it through the back right now. This is definitely going to be a stretch, I think, to make it. Oh, is it? I think it will. Actually, I guess I might as well plug it in. Let me route it around this heatsink better, so we got a little more slack. That should do it. Got to get around the EPS power, because got to be able to plug that in, right, John? Got to plug in that EPS power. All right. Now just gonna make sure I got it facing the right direction. Stub right there. I guess I'll do this one right here. It's a little bit closer. Won't put as much tension on the cable. Perfect. So we got a pretty good routing of the. Yeah, I mean that looks clean. Can't even see anything. Let's see if you can. No cables visible. I like it. All right. So next we've got, we're actually moving along pretty nicely here. We're at about at the 45-minute mark, and we got the motherboard, CPU, RAM, SSD all installed. So let's move on to power supply. Let's get that sucker in there. And just kind of scoot the case up a little bit out of the way, and we're going to talk about the next part, the power supply. All right. So if you guys are veterans of the channel, and if you are new, welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe and join us for the next stream, because I try to do this once a month. I would love to do more on a monthly basis, multiple monthly basis is what I meant to say. So maybe we'll get there in time, but obviously this is definitely going to be content I'm always producing, this type of stuff, build guides and etc. But anyway, if you're veterans of the channel, you know what this is. This is a EVGA B-stock power supply. I bought direct from EVGA, something that I always tell you guys. Make sure you're checking EVGA. It's a smoking red hot place to buy a good budget power supply. And by budget, I mean just something that costs way less than it used to retail. So this is about $150 to $175 power supply, brand new, which we'll, I guess, go ahead and show you instead of just holding the box. We've got a B tier. Let me get you on this screen. Gold rated, fully modular. So this is the EVGA. I'm trying to get the. There we go. So EVGA 750 watt GT. This is a B tier power supply, gold rated. We've got tons of juice, fully modular. So this is going to be the one and done power supply for the client. He isn't going to need any more unless he goes really wild with. I mean, we'll have to probably just go with a different case if we went super crazy with a, you know, like a 40 series GPU, because that one, I don't even think one would fit in here. But yeah, so this is plenty of GPU, plenty of horsepower for. I'm sorry, plenty of power for the current GPU, which we'll get to in a little bit, and GPUs to come. So we're going to get out what we need. I'm going to actually get the box out of the way. We've just got some things in here that we're not going to need, power cord. So I'm going to just get this out of the frame. Alrighty, that is off on the ground. So we've got motherboard, 24 pin that we're going to connect up to the power supply. We've got CPU, which obviously we're going to need EPS power. Oops, we got a little sticker here on the power supply or something. There we go. And then we are going to need probably peripheral power for like SATA for the controller out back. This is a EVGA, or this is a VGA power cable. We'll need that, and I need that peripheral power that I was talking about. And these are just labeled. If you guys aren't familiar, they're usually just labeled on the cable. So this says VGA, so that means, you know, for your video card and graphics card. And I think I already did throw one of those out there, right? Yep. Yep. So it came with two. We don't need two. Some graphics card require a lot more than that. So we've got a pretty reasonable one. This is a Molex power. Not going to need that. Just throwing that away off to the side. We need SATA power is what I'm talking about, which is our peripheral power. And I think this is another SATA power. Yep. So we're going to get those out of the way too. So we've got some power cables to connect. We've also got, and I was going to kind of try to take this as a live question to the client since he's here in the chat. We've got some Asia Horse. I'm kind of throwing this in as an extra little thing for you, man. We actually did not discuss this, or I'm not including this in the build cost. This is just a little gift to you. But this is white cable extensions that kind of give the system a little extra pop to kind of include a little white theme, because I know you said you wanted to get a white case here, so I figured this is a good little thing to do. Oops, I just ripped the box. That'll be okay. That'll be okay. It's just the box. But I think this will make the build pop. What do you guys think overall in chat? I think this will look really well, especially since we have this white cable management bar going here. The motherboard has a lot of blacks on it, so I kind of wanted to add a little extra white into the build on the inside. For the life of me, if I can get this box open. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, they're black. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this just comes with, if you guys never seen Asia Horse, this is a great budget cable extension sleeve kit. Mainly we're going for like the sleeve look, right? But they're extensions. They're not, cable replacements. So we are going to have some cable bulk to manage out back. But if you guys, frequent, like say, like ZTT's channel, Zach's Tech Turf, I think he uses these like on every build. But Asia Horse is great. This is like 20, 25 extra bucks to get these kits. They do sell like super premium ones. I think actually they do sell full like cable replacement kits, but that's not necessary for where we're going with this build. But really cool, and actually I was surprised to see they only included, looks like, white cable cones, but I believe I have some extra black ones that we can throw into that to kind of do the white and black cables. But what do you guys think? You think this is a good little add to the build? I think that'll look pretty nice. So a little Christmas gift for the client on the build on top of that. So let's just double check with the chat here, take a quick little break as I read what your guys' comments are and get a quick sip of water. Oh, is that an app? This is an Apple Watch. Actually, I'm not sure what version Apple Watch this is. I think the 4? I don't keep up with it. I've had it for like 2 or 3 years now. But yeah, Apple Watch. Okie doke. First off, before we go with the cable extension route, we've at least got to get the main core cables that come with the power supply plugged in. So we're going to go ahead and start working on that. And this is a pretty mundane task, so hopefully should be able to have some interaction with you guys while I do this. But we're just going to match up what it says here on the power supply. It's really not very hard to do. Just make sure you plug it in. You want to make sure you plug things in right, but it's honestly not very easy to screw this up, because they kind of label things pretty well, and things are pretty particular to how they plug in, so shouldn't have any fear of doing this. Always consult the manual, which unfortunately these B-stock ones, they don't come with a manual, so you can always look it up online if you are that nervous about playing with power supplies. Okay, so we got the 24 pin and plugged in. Let's go with the VGAs, the next one across the bank here. Let's see. Okay. Now, a good thing with the VGA cable, you might be like, oh, there's like 3 ends. Which one do I plug in? Always look for the split daisy-chained end. That is the end that's going to go to the graphics card. So that's a good indicator for you guys. So the main one that isn't split is going to go into the power supply. And this goes in as simply as that. And then we got peripheral power. So we've got SATA 1, 2. This is a SATA power plug. We're going to put it in the SATA power connection. These are real simple because you're going to have kind of that larger pin out side of the cable, and then obviously if you guys are into building PCs, you know what a SATA cable looks like. It's, can't plug that side into the power supply. Next and last, actually, we've got, throwing cables around, the CPU power. We don't have dual EPS power on the motherboard. We just got a single 8-pin, completely fine. So that's all we need. So that way we've got, especially since we're doing sleeved cable extensions, we have the least amount of cables to deal with, so we don't have a bunch of bulk out back. So that being said, I think we'll just go ahead and start working on these extensions here real quick. We'll get them at least plugged in at first. And we should have an end that'll match up. Okay, so we are looking for notched end to go into non-notched end. And that should grab it here, like so. There we go. 24 pin is done. Kind of shove it off to the side. VGA. Now this will be particularly nice for the VGA because we're not going to have this daisy chained end sticking out inside the build. The only part that'll be visible is the nice cable extension. So that's super cool. I like that. Just make sure we got the correct one here. I think they're all about the same. Okay, yeah. So we're looking for, this is a CPU power cable because of the way it's split. It's 4x4 and it's got an 8 on one side. Leave that off to the side. The other ones are split like how the PCIe is split on the main cable. So we got a 6 and a 2. 6 and a 2. So make sure you do that right. We don't need the extra one, so I'm going to shove that off to the side. We just need one. Alright. And CPU there, VGA here. So I think with this, we'll allow that other part of the cable to kind of just go back into the case, and we'll connect up this part for the cable extension. Lots of chatter in the chat, guys. I see you guys going. I'm trying to keep up with you as well. All right. I'm a legend. Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, love to. Want you to feel proud of your build too. So that is one thing I'm always after as far as doing these builds, is I want people to be proud of what they get too. So got to be able to show it off, make it a centerpiece of discussion. All right, so we're gonna connect up the CPU power. Now it is split, so here's a good indicator again. See how the CPU power is split already as it comes. Same thing, we're just carrying that through, we're just extending it. And not that we need to extend it, we're just doing it for aesthetic purposes to make it look nice, to give that little extra white pop in the build. Okie doke, there we go. Got me RGBLX, excuse me. Got a 5700G. Should I use the onboard graphics for it to use it? Sorry, keep coughing here. That's a tough call. I'm not sure exactly what you guys are talking about, but I'll have to say 5700Gs are pretty stout. As far as just gaming chips, they can do it. I did a video a little while back when those were like hot to the market on how well those suckers perform. They perform really well. Obviously, don't expect to play like Warzone at like high fidelity or anything like that, but for an onboard video chip, that's a pretty solid chip. And it's got a lot of cores on it, so when you do upgrade to a more powerful GPU down the line, you've got a pretty solid CPU that can handle some pretty solid tasks. Obviously, it isn't as good as like a 5800X or something like that, but it's still pretty good CPU. Okay, so with this, obviously we want to try to mount the power supply in the best setup possible. Actually, well, you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. And what I mean by that is we're just going to mount it upside down, or this is, I guess, what you could consider right side up nowadays. But we have ventilation on the bottom of the case just for that, and the legs of the case stand off my table about an inch, so that's plenty of breathing room for the power supply. And the power supply doesn't even kick on usually until it's under high load anyway, so we're pretty good for that. So we're just going to get, I got all this cable weight pulling against me. But we're going to get this power supply installed in the case. And I think that's another thing to kind of also be on the lookout too. Luckily for our case, we got these screws, just trying to find them. But sometimes when you buy EVGA stock, they don't. I have seen them where they do and they don't include the screws that normally come with the power supply. So it's hit or miss. Where did those go? Yeah, I think I took those away thinking I wasn't going to need them. Yeah, nope. Where are they at? Here they are. Nope, here they are. Yes. So luckily, case had some extra. Got 4. It's intended for the power supply, the hexagon screws. Jonathan Talks to Hardware says, I think my personal... Oh, my screen just flickered. I think my dream personal build would be an Intel 12th to 13th gen with an RTX 3000 series or Radeon 7000. Yeah, that would be a heck of a build. That would be a powerhouse, literally and figuratively. But yeah, that sucker would fly. I actually am doing a build which I'm not going to have time to cover on channel for another friend slash client who wanted to kind of go pretty balls to the wall in terms of a build. So he's spending about $1,500-$1,600 on a build. We got him set up with, and I put a link to it in my Discord. Another reason why you guys should be on my Discord, if you aren't already, is I have deals that I try to find. I've been kind of slacking through the holidays, but I'm trying to get back, make sure I get my activity back up there with you guys. And also, it's an area for not just me to post, but anybody that finds a good deal out there and post, and so we can all work as a community to do that part hustling. But we found in Micro Center, luckily in Dallas area, I have one, fortunately. But we found where you can get a 12th gen i7, and actually the reason I found out about this was a good friend of the channel here as well. The net guy found this deal, and I just scooped that up immediately. I said, oh, we got to go get this, because we were talking about with my client doing a $1,500 build. And I said, dude, I just found this. We got to go get this. And basically, it was a 12th gen i7, 12700K, the K chip, and motherboard for, I think the total was like $500, $550. So it was no, I'm sorry, you buy the chip and you got the motherboard free. So it was $320 for the total deal, and it was a Z690 board from Asus. So like crazy awesome deal. So yeah, be on the lookout. With my Discord channel, we try to post those things. I try to get everybody to interact with that. I try to do it myself, but good reason to be joining the Discord. All right, so I'm gonna start easy here. I'm gonna go with CPU EPS power first, and try to get a good angle for you guys to be able to see this. I think what we'll do is just spin it. We'll do it like this. Spin it so you guys can see here while I work on the back side. Yeah, perfect. So we're shoving this guy through. I feel like I should throw some cable combs on this first before I send it through. Yeah, I'll go do that. I want to try to get the black one, see if I have any leftover ones. Let me check. I did a build for my works game room, and I did some of these. Oh, did I not? Oh, I guess these don't come with black. Where was I thinking black? I had another set where I ordered. It would be cool if these came with black. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. Let me double check. One more drawer here. Maybe I threw them in a different drawer. Could have sworn I saved those because it didn't use them all. Well, I'll be on the lookout for them. I think I got them around somewhere. I don't want to waste my time going through my drawers. So, we'll throw some white cable combs on it for now. I think it'll still look pretty good. Yeah, so you're in the San Antonio area, SD1 Ranger? Yeah, you're kind of in between, because there's one in Houston. So Houston and Dallas. Either way, that's not a very close drive for you. Yeah, that stinks. They are awesome. I love going to Microsoft. It is a bit of a drive for me, actually. It's like completely across town. So if you guys are familiar with DFW, it's about about a 40 to 50 minute drive, depending on traffic. It could be even way worse. But yeah, not ideal. But if I can go find some good deals, I make it worth my while. So just doing some boring things here, guys. Getting these cable combs on. Anybody watch the Monday Night Football? Has that game gotten any more exciting, or is it your typical Monday Night Football? Actually, I think really the bad football has been on Thursday night, but Thursday night we actually had a good game last week. I think I'll throw probably just 2 on the EPS power, because really isn't going to be a whole lot of these combs visible from the front side anyway, because it's tucked way up in the corner. So we'll just do that. Yeah, I think these look pretty good, actually. These are always fun, like when you accidentally put them in the wrong hole slots, and then you got to pull it all apart. What I found is I put them up kind of like at the top like this, and then I just kind of pull it on down through. So I think that's about, and I think I just did exactly what I said yep. Lovely. Love it when I do that. So I accidentally ran them through the wrong slots. Anybody have a particular favorite cable extension there? I want to try out some, I want to try out some cable mod cable extensions. Those are like, you know, the GOAT of cable extensions, but they're also very pricey. Although I'm using the strimmer cables on my personal build, but they are pretty good quality. The old cable mod. Oh, yours is, so you got one kind of in the, you got, Pinky, you got at least one you can drive to. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be nice to see more micro centers go up. Kind of like, it would be sweet if they're as prevalent as Best Buys. They're a pretty niche shop though, so I guess I can understand why there isn't so many, but dang, they got some deals sometimes. Alright, so we're going to try to get this EPS power plugged in. And we got the notch on the top side, so we got to spin this cable around, and I got the cable comes to the wrong side. Oh boy. I don't do cable combs as often, so if there's any ZTT fans in the chat, they're probably laughing at me at this point. Because I know he does these for like every build. They are nice for the little extra aesthetic pop. I have to say that. Alright, let's try to get through this quickly. So I need to flip it, because when I put the cable through, it's got to flip to attach. I'm just going to take this other comb off too. I have to anyway. You guys really can't see what I'm doing. Okie dokie. So we're just messing with this cable comb here real fast. Just trying to get it back off because I put it on the wrong side. Okay, so as the cable is fed through, this, we gotta have, it gets flipped. Make sure I got this right. So we need to make sure I thought I did have that right. Could have sworn I did. So let me just test it. Quick test run through. That would be my luck. I did have it right all to begin with. Alright, pulling this through. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to really need to put one on because that's all you're going to see. So it should be, good indicator is it's likely going to be on the top notched ends, clip ends. So redo this here. So actually these are nice too because it helps keep the cable together. It's a nice little added benefit to doing cable extensions with these combs. So now we've got that cable more nicely together. Send it on through. Yeah, I think this is gonna look good. We're gonna stick with these cable extensions. Then I kind of have to flip it, turn it. Gotta get this all together. Actually, I think I should be able to put this together. There we go. As far as the connectors themselves, I thought so. Looked like you could. Yeah, you can. There we go. My goodness, I can't see anything. This is a little tight with that fan. Oh my gosh. Very tight with that fan. Oh my. I can't see anything what I'm doing. I might pull that fan. Yeah, I'm going to pull the fan. I'm not going to struggle with it. So this top fan's just literally in the way. I can't see anything. So we're pulling the top fan off. Switch scene here. Adjust my headset. Golly. I'm gonna need a new headset too. My Corsair Virtuoso, as nice as it seems, it's honestly probably one of the worst headsets I've ever owned. I used to think it was the best until it just basically started disintegrating on me. Maybe that happens for some people and not others due to sweat, I guess, but like it literally falling apart on me, like shredding. Probably have little, like I usually have like little black pieces of fake leather on me by the time I'm done using it, so not very happy with it. Spent way too much money for it to fall apart like that, and Corsair generally makes really good stuff, so wasn't very happy about that. So I don't really recommend it. Don't spend $200-something on a headset that's gonna fall apart. Still can't see. Hey, there we go. Got it. Okay, so yeah, not really gonna see that too much. Cable comb just kind of helps keep the cables together. It's got a little bit of white pop to it. I'm gonna have to pull that around a little to help keep the cable together. But yeah, that'll look okay. I think that'll look good. Trying to untwist them. Alright, not gonna spend all day. Oh, one of those popped out. Didn't have it all the way in. That would have been fun. I would have had a EPS not plugged in, wouldn't have had a boot. Oh man, I gotta pull the whole thing off. Struggling with this guy. Okay. I'm gonna move this cable extension real close. We can only see about an inch of the cable at max, I feel like. There we go. Okay. I will manage it. I might have to throw another comb on it later to kind of make it a little bit more managed. But we'll keep it like that for now and get this fan back. So that sucker was directly in the way. That's a good big fan too. I'm going to keep that. That's a big 140mm fan. That'll help pull a lot of heat off the top of the motherboard there. Okay, so a little bit of a struggle just with the cable extension. So yeah, I expect that. I guess if you're trying to meet those aesthetic goals, you got to put in a little extra work. Just part of the game. Just trying to line up my fan here. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I think SD1 Ranger, I think I probably should have done that first. I was thinking that too. I was like, it's very tight for the H510 case to get that EPS in there. Luckily, pulling this fan off helped a little bit. There was no way I was going to do that with this fan in place. Like, Jesus. It's tight, but it looks good because it fills the space nicely. So, working towards it. And I'll tidy up the cable a little bit. Remember, in the stream, guys, we're not making it look absolutely, 100%. I spend time off camera getting everything perfect. Mostly because it's just cable management that would take up like another hour or more. So I don't like to waste your guys' time with that. I want you guys to see this sucker boot up. Which, now that I realize, I forgot to bring down my monitor again. I do this every time. If the net guy's still in chat, he's probably laughing at me. Alright, so probably throw on a couple extra... Want to make sure we got the orientation right on this cable first. So this one is going to basically come out like this. So we need to have the combs on the back side of this cable like this. And actually, I think that's no, that looks okay. Yeah, so we got to put on at least probably 2 here on the big 24 pin. So we got it orientated perfectly just like that. So we'll flip the camera here so you guys can see that. Okie doke. So we're gonna go with the big ones. Got to make sure we got the Asia horse emblem placed properly. So if That's going to be like that. Yep. So we can read that. Yeah, like that. Okay. So I got a lot of pins here to cables to get through here. Sponsor should send you a portable 15.6 full. Yeah, come on, sponsors. Yeah, I've been wanting to get one of those. Those are nice. One of those portable monitors. I think the Net Guy did a review recently of maybe a couple of those that he got his hands on. But yeah, those are super nice for that reason. Oh, I didn't run one completely through here. So I'm gonna go. That's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. I think I just forgot completely. Yep, just forgot to do the middle one, I think. Oh, what did I do here? It's easy to get lost. Oh, I switched. No? Yes, I did. Okay, this go here. Perfect. That. Ah, we're in alignment. Okay, we got one. I want to do at least one more. Okay, now once you get one too, it makes it a little bit easier. So, let's keep rocking. Sure I got that facing the same direction as the other one. Yep, I do. Keep on rocking here. Almost feel like I just want to push it down, but make sure I get them all lined up first. There we go. Almost all the way in. There we go. Okie doke. That'll look good. Pretty stiff to work with, but we'll get that through here. Okay. Gummy RGBLX says, what's the worst thing could happen if I screw up the cables? So what exactly do you mean by plugging in like the wrong PSU cables? Because that could be disastrous. No way. Did I? Okay, I did this right. Like, you kidding me? I put these on wrong. Yeah, never mix and match power supply cables ever, 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 even from the same brand. Because you never know. They could have used a completely different design or a different OEM for from one model to the other. So never, ever do that. That's probably the one area where I'd say some things could get screwed up kind of bad. So if you're ever in a pinch and you're feeling a little wary, join my Discord channel and then we can help you out, because I got a troubleshooting section. That'd be, you can just post out your question. We've had several, I think Jonathan Talks Hardware and Pinky. I've seen you guys addressing the audience quite a bit there, helping people out. So there's people there already just working hard to help people out in their builds. All right, so the last one is the VGA. I'm going to leave that for now because we've got a mess of other things to do. I want to take care of the rest of the cables here, so I'm going to spin this around. Look at that. I think that's coming together pretty good. What do you guys think about the white cable extensions? I think that looks pretty good. Pretty solid. All right, so we got to deal with the rest of the cables that the PC came with out back. So this is getting to be a mess quite quickly. All right, just want to make sure the main cables aren't just causing havoc here. All right, so these are, the case itself came with some fan cables. Looks like you can actually daisy chain another fan. So if you, I don't even know where you would put another fan in this case, but you could plug in PWM to that. Actually, you could probably plug in the CPU PWM that way too if you needed to, but I mean, I don't even know where you plug in. This case is completely full with fans, so there you can't really put any more in there, but the cable comes with an extra fan header. We're just going to get that out of the way for now because we're not even going to mess with that. So I need to plug in. Let's go with the kind of like front panel type stuff. I'm just going to untie this a little bit. And we're going to work on the USB stuff and HD audio stuff. So I believe the header for this is, where is it? Somewhere. We'll find it. But I think I just should be able to send it up through here. That looks like a good spot for it. Kind of loop under there. Then we've got HD audio, or this is a USB 2.0 for the front. We've actually got another need for a USB 2.0, which I'll get to in a minute. Let's go with the, okay, here's the front panel header. So here's the deal. Oh, this is what I was talking about earlier. So the reason the NZXT case comes with this extra harness is the front panel is already done as a singular harness, where normally you would have these, which I can't remember who said in the chat, said these are the pain in the butt part, or probably the hardest part. So NZXT does the work for you, front panel header wise, or the front connections. But if for some reason the cables aren't oriented correctly in the fashion that this cable is put together for you already, they give you this little harness add-on where you can split apart your front panel connections if you need to, if you got like a different motherboard that doesn't accept the orientation of the built-in one. So hopefully ours is going to be that case and we won't have a problem with that. For now, we'll just pass the cable through and find out. And on it goes through. Okay. Last thing to pass through. This case does have USB-C, but it doesn't have a front USB-C header, unfortunately. So we're going to have to tuck away that one down below. We do have USB-C function out back, so that's good. And we did mention that was a requirement. We were able to meet, at least within our budget, to get them some USB-C out back. All right, we're going to put in the HD audio on the back side here. I think you guys can see what I'm doing. Yep. Okay, I'm just tucking that basically in the gap between the power supply and the case. And then regular USB, we're going to shove just kind of up with the other ones here. And then what we have left is just kind of those main power cables that are just going to dangle for a moment here. I'm going to lay things down here so you guys can see me work on that. Kind of spin it a little bit here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so USB or HD audio, we're just going to plug that in. Typically goes one direction where the label is facing up. In this case, that is correct, so we're going to do that. Plug that guy in right there. I'm going to shove it up just a hair bit. Okay. And then next here, we've got USB 3.0. That is going to plug in down below right there. Actually, let's do the USB 2.0 first, since it's right next to this one. These only go one way, so look for the blocked off pin to know which way these go. Goodness, come on now. I feel my headset about to slide off my head. I'm talking about this thing deteriorating, man. Come on. Get on there. Am I doing this right? Yeah. Headset's falling off my head. Okay. Front panel. Oh, that's a freaking front panel. Why is that not going on right? Okay. So careful what you do, guys. All right, here's the USB. So I've never had so much problem plugging in a freaking USB cable. There we go. All right, front panel. We'll do that last. See if I can kind of capture that with you guys. USB 3.0. Again, only goes one way because there's a notch on one side. Just line it up and you should be good. You guys probably can't see anything that I'm doing because this is extremely hard to get on camera. Okay, and then front panel, actually, with this motherboard is over kind of more towards the middle, interestingly enough. So it's like straight down right here, right underneath the CMOS battery. And looks like, I think we'll be in luck. Yep. Using the pre-pinned out harness. I believe, yep. There we go. That's the beauty of NZXT. I don't know why more case manufacturers don't do that. It seems like that should be, I think most of the time, the orientation is exactly the same. Maybe with like a high-end motherboard, it may be a little different. Getting cable funk here going. But, yeah, I mean, that should be completely fine. All right. I'm going to switch camera view real quick. Got a little bit of clutter here to deal with that I'm just going to kind of work on just quickly because they can tuck these away real fast and easy. Beautiful. I don't like these USB 3.0 cables too. At least this one's like flat, so it's a little easier to work with, but it's right on the bottom like that. Usually what I do is just kind of bend them, pinch them down a little bit, and they should be okay. You can buy, which I had like a little short video on a while back, these flexible extensions that allow it to basically just 90 degrees straight off the motherboard, which would be really nice in our case. Pun intended here. So I'll pull that out of you. There we go. Everything's cleaned up. Alrighty, moving right along, guys. So we're pretty much getting to the end here. I mean, we don't have much else to do. We've got video cards, so let's talk about that real quick. I'm just going to catch up on the chat here because I felt like my head was buried in the case there for a little bit. He's done or the sun comes up, whatever is first. Man, you guys are really ripping on me tonight. Jeez. Have to ask the wife, have I been building this PC for too long? Have I been here forever? She's like, yeah, no. She isn't paying attention. All right, so I think this panel, yeah, this little panel comes down. I'm gonna do that to get the video card on. We're gonna get the video card in next, and so let's talk about that real quick. So $800 budget, yeah, it's tight to fit in a powerful video card, right, guys? Even with the market basically normalized, it's still tough, especially if you're going the NVIDIA route, which we did. Actually, I'm going to bring the table up just a hair bit. But the reason we wanted to go with an NVIDIA card is because my client's going to be doing streaming, and you know, from what I hear, the AMD 7000 series is going to have better encoders for streaming. Again, I really haven't seen the benchmarks and seen that like thoroughly tested, but okay, but those cards are going to cost like $500-600 plus minimum, and I think right now even still only the latest and greatest is released, which is, you know, $1,000 video cards. So and to go the NVIDIA route, we would have to get a 3000 series if we wanted to get something that's more mainstream yet some semi-affordable, and even that is expensive. So if you guys saw the parts hunt video, you know we tossed around quite a bit with the video card until we landed on what we landed on. And I wanted to get something really that was as powerful as I could possibly get for my money. So we did have to go the used route on the video card now, which is funny because this does not look like a used video card at all. This thing is in pristine condition. Let me do the overhead here so you can really see what I'm talking about. So this is an MSI RTX 2060 Super. This is the OC Gamer X version, or I may have that somewhat specifically wrong as far as the name, but it's got some RGB effects to it. Basically, this card is I originally found it, and here's the funny part about it. I originally found this same exact card, which is wild, on Jawa, which we saw on the Parts Hunt video. I ordered it. I got it on Jawa, and I actually even got a little deal. That was a Cyber Monday deal where it was like $20 or $30 off. Actually, I think $40 off when I went to order it. So I ended up getting this same exact card for like $190. And then I waited a few days, and then all of a sudden my order canceled. And I got a notification from Jawa that the seller had already used the video card, just forgot to pull down his listing. So that was a real bummer because I was like, man, I felt like that was just an absolute steal. And I managed to go find oddly enough, on eBay. So this card came from eBay, and they're going right now, I think if you pull up eBay, around 240 to 250. So I did have to pay a little extra. So I ended up paying more than the Jawa listing was. The Jawa listing was phenomenally good, especially after I got that little promo deal, which obviously is a one-time deal. But the Jawa listing was like 220. This was like 250, and then after tax and shipping, it ended up being like 265. But RTX 2060 Super, so it's an 8 gigabyte, and I believe the clock speeds are boosted a little bit with the 2060 Supers as well. So it's in essence a 2070, give or take. So, I mean, really going from there would be like trying to get into the 3000 series cards, and that's just, it's just not doable with NVIDIA. And we wanted to stay with NVIDIA because we want to keep the things that NVIDIA's matured and done well, which is the NVENC encoders for streaming and the CUDA acceleration for content creation. So kind of was a no-brainer to go NVIDIA, and I explained that heavily too in the video. So anyway, so here's also a indicator of how new or well taken care of this card is. The little stickers on the fan hubs have not even been peeled yet. And I mean the protective stickers. So the plastic film. So that's how well in shape this card is. So now it's gonna pop even more because it's not gonna be doled out by those little stickers. So that, I mean, this was a heck of a find, even though it's hard, it's even funny to call it used because this thing is in pristine shape. And I did test it, so we're not just, you know, putting this in on a prayer. Made sure this sucker was running heaven benchmark for like 2 hours straight with no nothing going on, so we're good. Now it's a matter of getting this other one off. Come on now. These are, and this is probably why that was on there, because they're not easy to get off. But they give a good little reflective look, so you want to, especially if you've got some RGB in the system, you want to, although these will be facing down anyway, but come on, almost got it. I'm going to give up here. Got that other one just fine. It was actually kind of peeling, that's how I noticed. It's like, oh, those weren't taken off. Oh, here we go. Almost got it. Almost got it. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Now, that is good. I think we even have one on the side, maybe. No, I think we're okay. Okay, so we're going to get this card in. Anyway, that was just a quick little rundown of the card. It's in fantastic shape. And it doesn't even have any dust on it, nothing. I don't know, maybe this person just bought the card and decided they wanted something else and sold it. So it came from a independent seller. It wasn't like a refurb company or something. Someone who took really good care of their parts. That's always nice to get that. So we're gonna get this guy in, remove this PCIe bracket, get the other one off. Also give you guys a view that you can actually see what the heck I'm doing. All right, let's get this guy in. I think this will pop really good with the build because it's got that reflective back plate, and with the RGB lights going, it's gonna look good. And I'm really liking where this build is going right now. Yep. Go a little sideways on the screw. Back that up. Fix that. There we go. Yeah, sitting in there real nice too, as far as like no sag or anything like that. So it's looking solid. And those 8 gigabytes of VRAM are going to be nice for the content and streaming purposes. Content creation, streaming purposes. I think I do need to let it angle down just ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, so last thing that we're going to plug into actually the motherboard, which you guys might have thought we were done, is if you guys watched the part streaming or the part hunt video, we have a need for Wi-Fi on the motherboard, but this motherboard does not have Wi-Fi. So with that, we found a PCIe Wi-Fi adapter. Pretty simple stuff. This just actually plugs into your 1X slot, so easy little plug-in, and it's basically what comes on a motherboard normally, like that's just built into a dedicated slot. So we got antennas, screwable antennas that'll make the Wi-Fi reception very good, and this is actually a card that will do the latest Wi-Fi 6E standard, so it's going to basically be the fastest Wi-Fi standard that is currently available. Yeah, here's where it says Wi-Fi 6E. Probably can't see that. Yeah, pretty hard to see that. Anyway, and it's also a Bluetooth card, so we've got all the things that we need as far as Wi-Fi goes. So I'm going to get this installed. I'm probably going to go with this bottom slot because it's most easily accessible, and it gives the graphics card a little breathing room. So that is probably two more slots down. Might be 3. No, yeah. Probably have to do this one right here. Go second to last, I think. We'll see. Line this guy up real quick. Did you guys see that? There we go. Get this little card installed, and nice that it's got a black coating to the PCB on the top side that's visible, so that'll not diminish our aesthetic at all. Yeah, it'll go right in. Perfect. Just like a video card, but obviously weighs a whole heck of a lot less. And that just goes in those little 1X slots. You can put it in the full slot, just not necessary. Especially if you're building like a budget motherboard that maybe only has one slot. Later on, I am going to install, this is where I said I'm going to need another USB 2.0 header that I've now fully used all of them, is to get the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth to work. It actually has a cable that I have to plug in on the back and then plug into USB 2.0. So I've got actually a adapter on order where I can do 2 connections at once. I didn't realize that after I took a look at actually the Wi-Fi adapter today. I was like, what is that for? And then I looked at, and it's got a little instruction manual. In order to enable Bluetooth on the Wi-Fi card, you have to plug that in. I'm like, ah, dang it. So we'll have that sorted out. You know, actually that part arrives tomorrow, but it'll be good and fine for the client. So everything will be completely okay. Yeah, and that looks fine. It's clean in there. There isn't any ugly green PCB to throw off the aesthetic. So we're solid. We're solid. Parts get dropped. I did drop 1 cable comb, pinky. So that's all I've dropped so far. Nothing bad. I did drop my 4K camera this morning. That was pretty. Like literally gave me a heart attack. I was like, oh my god. It didn't drop it high. I caught it a couple times, but it rolled off my hand. So that was very scary though. Okay, so let's get this cable plugged in for the VGA, and we're almost there, dudes. Trying to think where I want to come from. Oh, probably it's got the little dedicated hole for the VGA, so we're not worried about cable management in my streams because we are just worried about the product. All cable managed in the end, and you guys will see the full complete package and the follow-up video next week when I talk about the performance and everything that this PC can do. To spare us some time, I'm just going to probably not do that cable comb for now, because I'm going to have to do a lot of cable work anyway. So put this cable together. Plug that guy in. Try to tuck those cables down. Yeah, I think that was a good move, going with cable extensions. What do you guys think? Well, you can't see it. So, what do you guys think? Cable extensions were a good idea. I think it adds a little extra white pop. So, speaking of white pop, I got one more question for you guys. What do you think about replacing this back rear fan with a white fan? Just a generic white fan. There's a lot of black going on back here. I think, and I just had these on me because I bought these like a long while back. Actually, when I did the HTPC a while back, I bought some white fans to add to it. Well, what if we put this here? Would that go well? What do you guys think? Yes or no on that? This is a up here fan. So the only thing about this is the drawback is it's non-PWM controlled. So this fan is PWM, and it has, you know, it's built into the NZXT controller. I mean, it's not really going to make a big difference, but I'm kind of, now that I thought about it, and this is why I wanted to save this for the stream, I think it's a little too much, especially with that white cable comb up, or cable extension up top. And the white is a little bit more of a, like a brilliant white. It's kind of probably hard to see it on camera, but I think it's probably just a little too much. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'll leave it up to my client, see what he wants to do with it. I can even install it and take some pictures, but I mean, it still looks pretty darn clean, I think, with the black fan. The things that you get with the black fan, the benefit, it's a full speed controlled fan, and it's plugged into the NZXT hub in the back. So as the PC gets hot, everything ramps up with it. So I don't know. I'm kind of indecisive with it. It's kind of why I had it out here as a part to maybe think this NZXT fan is clearly a better quality fan, but for that aesthetic purpose, I was kind of wondering what you guys thought about that. I don't know. Well, I think it seems like yeah, I'd separate the fans from blending in. Yeah, seems like a lot of people are kind of going with keep it black, and the client says he likes black, so it's settled, guys. So all right. So what is left to settle is, will this sucker turn on? So I wanted to get a good angle here so we can see the fans and stuff. There we go. Probably right about so. I think that'll be good. So I did my traditional, oops, I forgot my spare monitor upstairs. So let me go grab that. Talk amongst yourselves. Raise wagers. You know, do whatever you think. Is it going to boot? So I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds, guys. That was my typical, I forgot the test monitor break. Yeah, so I need to get one of those fancy monitors that are portable. They don't cost a whole lot, I just keep forgetting to get them. So Maybe a little gift idea for the wife to get me for Christmas. Hint, hint. Okay, so I think we got power to this monitor. Can't tell. Not plugged in all the way. I think so. Yep, it's good. It's got a power LED underneath. Okay, get this fan out of the way. Yeah, those portable monitors are nice because then I could just like fold it up and just probably could stick it in this workspace here. All right, so here we go, guys. Moment of truth. Power is plugged on. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Why are those front fans? Oh, I forgot to plug in the state of power them. Hold on. There's always a fun snafu. Hang on. We got this. We can do this while we can do this hot. So the entire NZXT hub is not on right now. Now it is. There we go. Forgot to plug that in. That was one thing that I just literally completely bypassed. So, hey, well, I think we got a post before I even looked at it. So here we go, guys. Let me see if I can get a better... There we go. Oh, man, that feels nice. It's blowing air at me. I'm getting sweaty and hot. All fans spinning. See if we get a good look at that GPU. Yeah, there we go. So it's a little foggy up front. The glass actually still has the protective film on it. I'm just leaving that on and letting my client, do the peel himself. But we've got lights up on top. Man, I kind of wish I could like push a button and switch them, but it's all white. I guess that's kind of the default that NZXT comes with. It actually looks pretty slick being all white, not gonna lie. Man, it just doesn't, all this light doesn't do it justice. Let's see what can we do here. There we go. There's a little less light in our face, but that's looking good. I like it. That's a sweet looking rig, and we didn't have any crazy snafus with boot up, so looking pretty good. Obviously, we've got the RAM. It's that silver look because that's just the RAM that I'm gonna pull this monitor off now. That's just the temporary RAM that we mentioned earlier in the stream. If you guys weren't here for that, I ordered a part like now 10-12 days ago, and it's still sitting and shipping. Perks of the holidays, right? So I don't know, maybe I'll keep that light off. It actually, oh yeah, and the motherboard has some light up LEDs too, and it's MSI red, so we can get that all synced up and looking pretty sweet. But I like it. Yes. SD1 Rager, maybe you did remember. I was asking anybody. I didn't quite see the responses. If anybody remembers that memory, is the memory I bought by accident. I was like, hey, that looks pretty good. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's cast latency 22. Never mind. So yeah, it's just temporary RAM to get the system booted because I have the part coming. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow. I thought it might have showed up tonight while we were doing the stream, but obviously some work to be done. Just a little bit more on just managing up the cables. We'll put some combs on here to make it look extra nice. And we've got obviously some LEDs to address. So we got the LEDs up top that are glowing. I think you can kind of see that. Yeah, they're way tucked in there. Actually, NZXT does a good job in there. But there's a strip right up here, and there's a strip on the back side. So everything's going to look really sweet. And then obviously we got the front panel off. Now, one other question for you guys. Should I go with the black? There's actually another extra thing I threw in here. The client didn't know about, but should I go with the black? Well, here, I'll take it out of the box. The black heatsink for the NVMe drive. The NVMe drive's the white sticker that we see here sticking out. So if I went with this is just one of those kind of generic ones that you can kind of stick in there, but kind of get it close. But I can't really see what I'm doing. But I think that might look pretty good if we went with a black heatsink back there. I might take some pictures. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, black heatsink instead of the white label showing up underneath. This is what it would kind of look like attached to the motherboard. So I think that'll look pretty good because we got the blacks going on. I'm going to take some pictures probably and put it on my Discord. and let you guys have the final opinion. Obviously, the client has the most valuable opinion because he's the one paying for it. But I think that'll look pretty good. That'll give it an extra little pop. I kind of thought about this too. Maybe a white one would have looked good, but maybe we can do that. We'll see. These only cost like $6-8 or something like that. Anywho, that is going to be it, guys. We saw that it posted. It's working just fine. All the parts are already kind of basically been tested, so we know we're good there. We've got just coming ahead around probably midweek next week or to late week, depending on my time schedule with that. We're going to have this PC fully benchmarked, tested. I want to put it through the new Warzone, the Warzone 2.0, so it's going to be a reason for me to go buy that and get that rolling. So your super chats were helpful in that regard, so I can buy, what was it, like $80 to get that stinking game. And test that. I think that would be a good, real strong benchmark test for a new system like this. Obviously, put it through the other kind of gambit of titles that we usually run our stuff through and make sure that this sucker's a solid running PC. So, with that said, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for your time, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Take it easy.